How y'all doing? Everybody all right? Oh man, it's so dope to see all the faces in this room. Y'all showing up for class. How many of y'all used to skip class? Go ahead and snitch on yourself, yeah. Now y'all showing up here at night school. This is really dope, and this one is really special to me. My vision when we started night school months back is I just have this mantra that information in games should not be sold. It should be free. I don't understand why educating yourself, like that's enough effort. You making an effort to come out here tonight on a Tuesday when my brother Young Thug is tearing the city down, and y'all chose to come here instead of that. That means a lot to me, and I think that you guys should be rewarded with some solid information, and I think we're gonna get that today. How many of y'all is it your first time inside of this Camp Kirk Studios? Anybody? Oh, love that. So new faces, new faces. Nah, that's crazy. See what you're doing? Yeah, you're doing it. Nah, we love that. We love that. So if this is your first time, welcome to Camp Kirk Studios, our location on the Beltline. We spent 8 years downtown. Any of y'all first timers here been to our downtown one though? Okay, bet. So you guys are part of the community. We'll be glad we found a reason and a time for you all to come here. This is our new location on the Beltline. We've been here for 9 months. We moved in February. And it's been an amazing experience. I hope you all can see the elevation in the space, the elevation and just the vibes, the energy. But you do need to know that it's the same energy that brought us here, that same creativity, that same community support. That's what we're doing here at the same time. So I'm really excited for you all to get something out of tonight. I'm not gonna hold it too long. I wanna bring my girl DonYé up here. Let's give a round of applause for DonYé. So we're gonna kick this thing off with a little, what they call it, a fireside chat. We're gonna get to know
never be no
DonYé.
fire during them chats either. It just be the chat.
Just a chat. We don't have no fireplace. But nah, first of all, thank you so much for being here, hopping on that flight.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That means a lot to me. You don't even understand. Like, this was a vision to find some way for us to work together from the last time you visited my studio, and since we crossed paths being on a creator collective, CCNY, I think that's how we first learned of each other.
Yeah.
But years later, we're here today, and it means a lot to me to know that you came and supported what we have going on. So I really appreciate you.
Right.
So can we give her another round of applause? So again, before I turn it over to you, because I know you have an amazing set of curriculum planned for everybody, I just want us to dive into a little bit of your story. For anybody that's maybe not as familiar with who you are and what you do, I want to just dive into that a little bit. Is that okay with y'all? Yeah. All right, bet. So let's start with the basics. How would you describe DonYé Taylor, and what is it that you bring to the creative world?
You know, I feel like every year I change it, but I think this one is going to stay because I think I'm at a place in my career where I understand that what I'm doing has been placed on my heart and my mind by God. I would consider myself a creative wellness entrepreneur. I think, you know, growing up, I never really thought that I was a wellness girly. You're not about to see me doing meditation, sound baths, and stuff like that. Like, wellness to me looks like my phone is on Do Not Disturb. I am out the way for like maybe a week or two. I have my own little things that I do to like maintain my mental health. And I started a newsletter 4 years ago selfishly because I wanted a way to own my audience. I remember there was like an Instagram shutdown, and I was like, oh my God, like, what you mean if Instagram just decides to go away tomorrow, I'm not gonna have a way to connect to my audience. So I started a newsletter just to kind of put words and language to the very nuanced things that I was feeling. I've always been a very descriptive person by nature. And I think, you know, like at the time I was navigating quitting a job that I thought I was gonna be at for a really long time. I had moved all the way to California from Maryland to work at Ethica running their creative strategy. But once I got there, I was like, wait a second, I actually feel like this is a toxic environment for my mental health and my creativity. It's nothing like being somewhere where you know who you are, but there's so many different people or so many different things telling you that you're not who you are. That is such a horrible place to be in creatively. And I took a leap and I quit and I started my own consulting agency, rooted in the things that I knew to be true as a creative. Like, I always try to put authenticity first. Like, there's nothing that you all will see me make that is not a part of me or a personal experience. So I created my consulting agency rooted in that, and I've just been hustling and grinding ever since. But I do feel that we are on the brink of something really new and innovative with this creative wellness space. There's so many people telling creatives, this is how you monetize, this is how you produce, this is how you do this, but there's nobody really telling you how to maintain it or how to deal with, you know, feeling like you're behind because you and your friend started out doing the same thing, and your friend you feel like is doing better than you. Like, nobody is telling you how to deal with that thought that's weighing you down when you go home at night, and how to restart the next day and still keep pushing. So that is what I feel like I was placed on this earth to do, is to help creative navigate those really nuanced and specific emotions that come with being a creative in this day and age. Because at the end of the day, our jobs, like, we did not exist like 30 years ago. Like, we was not getting paid like this. You couldn't even fathom a creative career because it didn't exist. So all of this is new. We're all figuring it out together, and I really feel like this community is really special, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here with Cam and all of y'all, so yeah.
Nah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And yeah, round of applause for that. Round of applause for really just being ahead of the curve. Because now you see everybody talking about Instagram and the algorithm and how it's attacking them. And you were ahead of the curve to know early on to own your audience and to start, you know, what's now trendy. I'm even on Substack now, thanks to you. You really inspired me to do that. But now you see people thinking about that. Like, how can I get my audience? How can I reach my audience? Or data. They're thinking these things. And you were doing that 4 years ago. So salute to you being ahead of the curve, because I do believe that is the future. It's about building your own community, owning your community, and speaking directly to your community, whether it's physically or digitally. Yeah. And you were doing that, so shout out to you. That's amazing. And if you are not a subscriber for Substack, make sure y'all do that. We'll send y'all the link, let y'all know where it's at when we recap this, but make sure y'all do that. So, what was a moment in time when you made that leap, leaving Ethica and starting your own thing? And, you know, you started your Substack or your newsletter and you started getting the word out there. Where was a moment in time when you realized your ideas were actually resonating with people?
I started, like, it's an energy thing. Like, I always tell people to be so in touch with your intuition, because your intuition will speak so loud when nothing else is speaking, and it'll help you pick up on certain things that are happening that may seem small, but in the grand scheme of things is insurmountable. So I remember when I quit Ethica, I had wrote a newsletter talking about how titles don't really mean anything. Like, I had this title at this job, but it really didn't mean anything because people just didn't respect me. And then, like, what I like to do, I always like to correlate what's happening in my creative world with something that has happened to me personally. So my aunt and my uncle raised me. My mom and my dad didn't raise me. So to me, in my heart, they are my mom and my dad. That's not my title, but that's how I identify with them emotionally and spiritually. So I wrote a whole newsletter talking about how, like, my title didn't really mean anything and how I wanted to make, like, my own title going into the new year, and that's why I quit. And I remember I got like 2 DMs from 2 random girls, but the DMs were so long. They was like, yo, I just read your newsletter and I feel like you took the words right out of my head and you just explained everything that I've been feeling for like the last 6 months. And I think when you make something that is from your heart and then someone interacts with it and they see themselves in what it is that you made, I think that is a great sign that you're onto something. So at the time, I didn't have an audience. I was really just writing to myself. Like, it was really just like my own journal. So I think once I started hearing people say, oh my gosh, you took the words right out of my mouth, or I haven't found a way to describe it, then it made me realize, like, okay, I kind of got something here when it comes to making creatives feel seen in their journeys.
No, that's very important. I know even for myself, I'm always looking for validation. And it's like, I think you wrote a Substack about this, about like KPIs for a creator and how do we measure success? Because, you know, we might put up a post and get a couple hundred likes, and all of a sudden that's just not enough for us. Like, and if you had 100 people in a room giving you a compliment, you would be overwhelmed. But our measures are so off now due to looking at other people. And so it's very important to take note and take a breath and realize when you're being validated. And that DM can mean the world to somebody.
Yeah, I be reading everything. Yeah. Y'all would be surprised. Like, y'all be looking for compliments and validation from like all these big people. No, validation is validation. It don't matter what it comes in the form of. It's just about like how you look at it. And that's why I said like the intuition thing is big, because if I was not in a space where I was open to even receiving that, I would have been like, whatever, and went on to something else. But because I put out something so pure to me, and what those girls gave me back was also pure, it just created like more of a moment. So like, and also to your point too, Cam, like it be so much stuff on Instagram, social media, the internet, that I will like mentally, like it will directly influence me. I won't comment, or I won't like, not because I don't like it, just because it caught me in that moment so much. I instantly screenshot and send it to my friend like, yo, look at this. So it's like, there's so many people out here that are probably looking up to the most like minuscule thing that you're doing, but you would never know because you're not looking for it or it didn't show up on your phone. So I'm just putting that into perspective for anybody out there that's like battling with followers, likes, anything like that.
No, that's real. And I would also say it's important for everybody to realize, like, you never know what that DM to somebody you are following can do, and how that can really inspire somebody on their journey. You know, like this is something she's speaking on now that validated her, and that might have just been a DM that someone just shot in the dark, maybe not even expecting to get a response. But I know for me, it means a lot when I hear from you all. You know, when you go out, respond, or I see a DM that like, wow, that was dope. So I would also encourage you guys' energy to be reciprocal to people that are giving something to you. Find a way to do a little bit more than a like. Give a thoughtful, insightful comment that lets them know what it is, because you never know how that can stand out to them or what they're going through in that day. And so if someone is giving you something and you're receiving, you know, find a way to reciprocate it, even if it's as simple as a share, a comment, or a like, because that stuff is literally changing lives and keeping someone doing what it is they're doing. So that's pretty powerful right there. You're oftentimes obviously sharing gems with us and sharing your experiences and breaking it down in ways that we can understand it and grow. But where do you go to for inspiration? Like, what things are inspiring you?
I'm gonna shout out my girl, Emma Greed. Like, I love Emma Greed, and it's very rare that people inspire me. Like the other day, I was telling my boyfriend, it's this girl, her name is Trim. She's from, I think, South Carolina or North Carolina, but she got this song, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I love this girl. Like, I am so influenced by her. It's really hard for me to get influenced by things because I'm just always interacting with stuff. But I would say Emma Greed is like my number 1 source of inspiration right now, just because, you know, it's a lot of women in here. I know it's fellas in here too, but y'all can take this and do something with it too, this information. But it's very rare that you see a lot of highly successful women have successful careers. They also are in a healthy relationship, and they have a relationship with their children. And the fact that she runs all these different businesses with a smile on her face, and she's still a mom, she's still a wife, I think is just the most inspiring thing to me, because I feel like so many women, we're put in positions where we have to be like, okay, you have to choose between your relationship or your work, and sometimes it's hard to find a partner that respects that. So she inspires me on the personal tip, but also just on the business tip. She's so smart, and she's like, I've never seen a type of, I don't want to say assertive. Emma is very assertive, but she's also soft at the same time. And I think that's really important to have. It doesn't matter what creative industry you occupy, photography, videography, whatever. If you want certain things, you have to have that on you. Like, it has to be in your energy. It has to be in your body, that a no does not exist when I have my eyes on the prize. So I get inspired from her, from that. Music, I love music. Movies. You know what's so crazy? As much as I write, I barely read. Like, I don't really read that much. I don't really consume a lot as far as like media or content is concerned, but the majority of my inspiration really comes from just living my life and doing what it is that I want to do. Like, I think that's when I get the most knowledge and the most data, from doing things not scared, or doing things that I thought that I couldn't do that I ended up not doing. I take inventory of everything. I take inventory of how I feel. I take inventory of how things that I do make other people feel. I would say that's where I get my inspiration from.
No, I love that. We love that. So I really want to not take up too much of this time. I want to get into it because I know you put a really thoughtful presentation together that I think we're all going to love and learn from. But what's something you hope we all take away from this presentation today?
I really hope that each and every one of y'all goes home, and if you got a Pinterest mood board that you're working on for 2026, I hope that this presentation makes you look at the mood board that you're working on, being like, why am I even doing this? These fancy pictures and these cute pictures don't even mean anything if I don't have my own foundation intact. So that's what I want everyone to go home with, is a new sense of like how they're going to structure their creative business going into 2026 from a mental perspective, not just from, oh, this is how many posts I'm going to do a week. It's like, no, like, what systems am I going to set in place so I can determine when I'm running out of storage? We use all of these devices, all of this technology that has all of these systems. It runs on systems. Everything we use runs on a system. So why don't we have our own systems for how we run? So that's really what I want for y'all to take home from this presentation, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get another round of applause for DonYé. I'm gonna let you take the floor.
Okay.